Welcome to Women Encouraging Women. My name is Madi and my co-host
Erica Eckert.
And today we have Ingrid Mora Smith finishing up her chat with us on how God has been merciful to her throughout different seasons in her life. Last week she shared how she came to know Jesus Christ and how it set a foundation for a lot of what she's going to be sharing for us today.
Thank you for being back.
Thank you for having me.
So where we had left off, you can continue.
Okay. Yes. I was diagnosed with cancer through an accident that I had at work. I had dislocated my hip, and I was checked by a physical therapy and start therapy for like twice a week or whatever. It took like 3 months to finally the physical therapy ordered a CAT scan because I wasn't getting better and the pain was very bad. So the CAT scan shows some shadows on my pelvic area, and from then on, the therapist sent the orders to my family doctor. So my family doctor took over from my case. From then, and then he started some sort of studies and figured out what was that shadow in my pelvic area. So I have blood tests and more CAT scans, MRIs, and finally I had a biopsy done. I never knew the results of the biopsy because then I was referred to an oncologist. So the oncologist diagnosed me with stage 4 of non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Now, in the field of cancer, non-Hodgkin is a friendly cancer, it's treatable, but I was on stage 4, so that makes a big difference. Through my life, I always like to find solutions, and it shocked me for a little. Wow, I have cancer, but now what are we gonna do about it? How can we fix it? Tell me my options. What is out there for me? And he's like, first of all, you need treatment right away. It's stage 4. We need to just treat it as soon as possible. So it was Friday when I got the diagnosis, and on Tuesday I started my chemotherapy.
Wow.
So I had the weekend to prepare my family, prepare myself, and to face it all, the reality that I had cancer. And at this point, stage 4 wasn't settled in my head. But then I learned that stage 4 is the highest stage in cancer. Well, it's good sometimes to be ignorant. Yeah, because I would be different attitude, I guess, I don't know. But yeah, my family got involved in this. I started my first set of chemos, and I got my treatment done 6 months later with every 2 weeks treatment. So, but during the process, I was still working. I worked for 4 months until my body started breaking down, and it was difficult to keep up working. Besides, I work with people with special needs, and my immune system was really weak. So it was recommended for me to leave the job, and I really wanted. I was tired, and it was bad as chemo can be. You know, I lost my hair. I got skinny. I was sick all the time. I have my 2 daughters. They were 9 and 7 then. They were very involved because I had a pig line here, and they will do, cleaning and fixing it. They were very involved, I like that. I want them to be involved. I didn't want surprises and misunderstanding for anything, especially in my family. So they knew what to pray for it and what to talk up when they asked them what is going on with mom. They knew the answers. So it was okay. We finished this all together. And 6 months later, I got my last chemo, and 2 weeks after that, I had my first PET scan through that treatment, and it shows nice and clean. Cancer was gone. And we were like, yes, done. I was all, the effects of cancer on my body, but I was happy and just be so thankful how God took us over, and through all this, He was always there. So for us, any cancer patient, they enter in remission. We got to see the doctor again 3 months later just to see how we're doing, how we're recovering, and check also how things are going inside of us. I mean, so he ordered again another PET scan before seeing me 3 months later. So I went through that. I went to the appointment, and the result of this new PET scan was different than the one I had after my last chemo. Cancer has come back and seems to be very aggressive because the tumors were already 2 centimeters big in 3 months.
Wow.
At this point, I knew enough that chemo wasn't gonna take care of cancer, and radiation was not an option for this type of cancer because it's like hematology cancer. So they had to radiate
There's blood everywhere. Yeah, it's your blood.
So I really didn't know what was there. And this time my attitude, my reaction to it was totally different because it's like it shocked me. It really scared me. I asked the doctor, what is there for me then now? And he's like, bone marrow transplant. And you only have a 30% of survival. I'm like, what? It was here at this moment when I really entered in a dark time of my life. My kids are still little. My husband was going through hard time. This all happened in between 2008 and 2009. And as you remember, in 2008, the country itself was going through a very difficult time.
Yeah.
Companies were closing. Well, my husband's company closed. So he was without a job. I had left my job. So we really entered a difficult time in our life. And honestly, I didn't know what to do. Knowing that God already took me through the first treatment, at this point, I just didn't know what to do. And yes, you will say, okay, pray and pray and ask for prayers. But when you hear a reality where your mortality is knocking the door, and you see your kids and your husband in the position we were at the moment, it was tough, and it was a very difficult time.
How do you interact with God? Like, how do you address God when you are in such a dark moment? Even though you had learned that He was faithful and He took you through that first round.
That's when now that I can look back, I just see His mercy, definitely, because I cannot withdraw. I felt like I was by myself. I felt like, it's not that I was angry at Him. I simply didn't count on Him. I was trying to figure out who's gonna give me the bone marrow I need. I was trying to fix the problem because I learned to do that, okay, to fix problems. And it's just, I know God was there. It's not that I was angry and asking, why me? No, none of that. It's just slowly I kind of withdraw from Him and trying to fix it myself. I figured out that my kids were only 50% compatible because, my husband is the other half. But the only people that could be compatible with me would be my brothers and sisters from mom and dad, which I have 4. So it was a lot of options in there. But if you take in consideration that I'm not from this country, they were all in Ecuador, and also financially we were not and a place to bring them over and have them tested. Can imagine my head, it was no space for God.
Mm-hmm.
Our house was gonna be, how do you call this, taken by the
bank?
from, yeah, because they were already 2 months behind. My husband was like, it was all out of control. And it was tough, hard, dark, having the Lord in my life at some point in that process didn't count. And but I was taking one day at a time. I decided to do that because I was getting very stressed and my immune system was really, really getting weak because I was stressed and also depressed. And cancer take advantage of that. So we just decided to take one day at a time. And one day that I was just driving to see the doctor, the Lord just surprised. It was just driving, and I had my Christian music, like routine, all that. And then I was just, what am I gonna do? And blah, 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 and driving, and all the girls, oh my goodness, what's gonna happen with that? All that kind of stuff. And out of the sun, a preacher came in and, did you really depend on God? Did you? And I was just driving, I'm like, oh God, I had to pull over and ask him for forgiveness. You are my solution. I mean, if I even die, I know I'll be all right. If you decide to take me, I know my kids, my daughters, my husband, everything, you're not gonna abandon us at all. Forgive me. And that day, I just, again, like I remember when first time I met him, when I was single and I give my life to him, I noticed that slowly I've been pulling it out of his altar. Everything is going on with me. 10 years later, I've been tested to again, give it back to him. Now I have the most precious things of my life, my kids. So I'm like, Lord, there they are. Take control, take the wheel, and you're the one. You're the one who's gonna take everything in your hands. You're going to do whatever you need to do. Just help me to rest in you, because I know you have the plans that you have for me are plans to prosper me, not to harm me. It's so beautiful to learn the word of God. So that day, I kind of wake up, went to the doctor, and my answer was there. My bone marrow was still healthy. I learned there's an organ that if it is cancer doesn't start from there, it's the last organ to be affected. So it was healthy. They would have to extract it from me, and then put it, do the transplant. So they call it oral transplant, something like that. So I was like, oh, goodness, right there, the Lord is taking care of me, but no, hard head of me. So, and from then on, I start seeing not only the good news about my health and the possibility of surviving, but me be at peace. Me not trying to fix it myself. I knew that I influenced my actions and my emotions influenced my husband and my daughters. So I started having my one-on-one time with the Lord and honestly prepare myself to whatever He decides with my life. And I'm trying to prepare my girls and my husband also in that way. So I entered the set of chemo. They were really hard this time because they were really kind of eliminating my bone marrow. And one set of chemo will last for like 8 weeks for me to recover in the hospital and then come home like another 5 days and then go for another one. However, I entered Hershey Medical in January 2010. and I was isolated for like 3 months. It was also another test because I was always a stay-home mom. I call a stay-home mom because I work in a way that I will drop off my kids in school and then pick them up. So I was always in their life. That was hard for me to know that no one will be there to fix their hair, to do their homework, to make sure they take a shower, and all that kind of stuff that moms do. My husband had to do it. And but the Lord was working with the nurses, with the doctors, just to take care of me. And on the other side, with my husband and my kids, the church, to took the time to help them and with meals and to take them out and things like that. I couldn't see my kids directly, physically. There was a window where they can just see me from there because my immune system was pretty much a zero. Yeah, we went through it. On March of 2010, I got out of the hospital, went home. It was so nice to be home, and my recovery in home started that moment. My husband was at home at this time. He was not working. I found a man that was very depressed and scared. So it really, really tough. But we work it out. The men's church always been supporting to my husband, and they never left him alone. So once I was home, seems like for him things changed, and for my kids too. And even though I was the zero help, I was there. And it was nice to have my family. I was always on the sofa, trying to record everything, made me sick. All the smells that you can, it's terrible. Everything would make me sick. But I was there with my kids and my husband, and we were there. We still had the house. It was hope that came from nowhere, well, the Lord. And we went through it. And now, also looking back, oh boy, what a beautiful time, I would say, where I could see God working in my life to the max, taking care of every little detail, everything. I mean, in my personal life, every person that entered my room, I knew they want to take care of me. I can see the reflection of God in them, and the doctors, the housekeeper, everyone. They bathed me with love. I didn't feel any rejection of nothing. It was beautiful. Yeah, it was hard, but I've never seen God working so perfectly in the life of anyone. I think He loved me more than anyone.
Especially.
Yeah.
He knew where to provide. He knew what you needed, and He provided.
He knew it, and it was His time. It wasn't mine. Although I wanted it to fix it, and I would choose to worry and get depressed because it was a choice at that moment. Once I start resting in His hands and His promises, it was better. Even my immune system pumped out. And it is a fact. People that have faith do better with these treatments. Because the depression, it's not that it's not there, it's not as strong. We have hope. And I felt it in my life. I knew it. I knew the Lord decided that this is it, Ingrid. This is how far you're going to be here. I knew that He will take care of everyone. He will take care of that man, my husband. He will take care of my girls. When I start resting in there, everything.
The burden was lifted.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness, Erica, I was free. And yeah, I finished my treatment. I got out of the hospital clean. 3 months later, I had to go again, get a PET scan again. It was scary, and it's still scary. Okay, but it continued clean, and then every 6 months, eventually, it's for like 3 years that you had to go and check, and finally I was graduated cancer-free.
Wow, praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. And yeah, that season of my life, though it was dark and painful and all that, all ugly, it was the best to see God working. And I hold on to that because sometimes I tend to forget. And I guess that's our problem here in earth. But I know that you did it then, you're gonna do it now. And I know He is the God of ages. If He opened the Red Sea, He freed me from cancer. He hasn't changed at all. And that's what I live on, you know, the promise of God. He's faithful, and trust me,
And merciful.
He's
Wow.
merciful even when. Oh my goodness, yes.
Well, thank
That's
you
it.
so much, Ingrid. That is an amazing story. The ups and the downs, but yet God knew what you needed, and He was merciful to provide for you. You were part of that 30% of survival, and here you are giving praise to Him because He was the one who did the work. Yes. And I think we talked at the beginning of the last session of this verse in Lamentations, and how the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end, and they're new every morning. Great is your faithfulness, says Jeremiah. And we sit here with you today to say great is His faithfulness, and His mercy has been shown to you. And we're thankful that you could come here and be with us and share that story, and hope that it's an encouragement for all of you who can get to watch this. So thank you so much for being part of our chat this month, double chat. And we hope that this story is an encouragement to you, no matter what you're going through, to be reminded that God is merciful and His mercies have no end. So,
Amen.
great is His faithfulness. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.